I couldn't even get my thoughts out. He just interrupted and interrupted and interrupted. And I felt like he was trying to take over the entire interview. I was like, what's going on? You're really pushing for this direction, but I think I like this direction. I gave my trade-offs and then boom, another cut off of my sentence. I couldn't even finish my thought. My everything was just everywhere. And it definitely wasn't the best experience. At that point I was like, I don't know. I gave it my best I could with all the interrupts, but I feel like it would probably wasn't the best experience. That's what I told the recruiter. And then after the interview was done, they met up as it sent my packet and decided, hey, all the other rounds were strong hires, but this was really weird round.
Have you signed your offer?
Yes.
Did you
Yeah.
sign it immediately? You got it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we went over a call and then they asked if I had any other offers, and I was like, "Yep, I have my other competitive offers from the rival companies," and they were they were maxed out top of band on their side. So, can you give me a good number that we could agree on? And they went back to their finance team. It was over the weekend when they got their approval. So Monday they came back and said, "Here is our max offer. We got pretty close to your number, and feel free to take it or leave it." And I was like, "Yep, let's do it." I'm pretty happy with the number.
I'm happy
So
you're happy.
thank you, thank you. I got top band for senior production engineer, and I think one other way that helped me was getting the strong hires on all rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt pretty good.
Yeah. So is that E5?
Correct, senior
Yeah.
E5.
Because
Yeah.
initially, when you started, if I remember, you were E4, and then the recruiter was like, you can go for E5 as well. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm happy it worked out.
Hmm.
So you're a
Yeah,
rich
that
man.
felt pretty good.
You're a rich man now. All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Very well done. Yeah, strong highs and all rounds, very impressive, and also getting that type of band pay. With other candidates I've worked with, we've also been pushing to get top of band because we kind of try to prepare them to get strong hires so they can have a leg to stand on. I think the fact you had competing offers was also an extra boost, obviously, and they also go back quickly. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so
I
that's
hear
go on, go on.
I hear a lot of initial offers, even with strong higher rounds, they lowball hard.
Oh yeah, yeah. They
So,
lowball hard, like
mhm.
disrespectfully hard. But because if you expect to if you expect if you expect that, then you don't get offended. So they lowball super
Mhm.
hard. I won't mention his name, but another customer recently of ours. He let's just say he was earning something like total TC from his previous company. It was non-bank. He was earning like maybe $480,000 TC, right? And Meta came in with their low ball, which was significantly less. It was like 300 or something. And this was also a PE role. So we just knew that that was a joke. So I just kept telling him, don't be offended. This is what they do. Don't worry. And we ended up, and he didn't have any competing offers, but his interview performance was good. So we just kept pushing hard. I think for him, the equivalent of his competing offer was the fact that his existing, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
pay was already high. So we used that to leverage to push on top of band. So we stopped negotiating when they said, this is top of band. We can't really go higher. And they're like, okay,
yeah,
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 you can accept the offer now if you still want to go.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They
So
know no one's in the right mind going to jump for a lower total comp, especially
yeah,
at
no, yeah,
Meta.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the
Uh,
recruiter also obviously realized it, but it was more like I have to do this because this is what
Yeah,
I kind of have to do. So
yeah,
the recruiter obviously knew and was like very helpful in going back. I mean, they'll keep saying they're going back to talk to whoever, but I don't know if they're just playing a game. But anyway,
I'm
he was
sure it's
also
all
very
games and information warfare
yeah,
at the
he was also
negotiation
very
stage.
happy. I think for him, I mean, the offer they gave him was top of band. It was slightly higher than maybe let's say an extra 30 to 50K higher than what he was already on. But I think
Oh,
for him,
interesting.
why it was worthwhile, because obviously Meta is hardcore. Everyone knows, they've raised the
Yep.
performance level and so on. So and he has a family, so like taking that risk for him, obviously the offer had to justify it. For him, it was like, what, the ceiling for compensation is way higher in Meta than where he is. So he was willing to make the move. So yeah, he was
Mm,
happy as well. So I'm happy you're happy. So I guess the
yeah.
question so yeah, so congrats on the Meta PE offer. So just those listening and PE means
Thank you.
production engineering. Uh, Are we allowed to say the location, like the part of the country, or
We'll
should we
we'll
keep
remain
that silent?
anonymous on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's stay anonymous on that, but somewhere in the USA. And that
Yeah.
part of the USA, I've actually been there. And I
Uh-huh.
was thinking, wow, this is really nice. I won't give too much detail so people guess, but it's like, kind of like the city. It was really nice. And I was like, wait, I could probably live here. And then as I was saying, this house I was driving in, this wasn't like a homeless person or something. Normally dressed person, he just, started peeing on the sidewalk. He brought out his, was peeing. I was like, wow, okay, I'm not moving in. If I'm coming in and this is happening already, what else is gonna is gonna happen? Yeah. So watch out for
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
watch out for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I guess so we had quite a few sessions. If I recall, we had at least two or three. I know we did
I
system
think we had
design.
five.
Oh, we had
I thought it
five.
was
Okay.
five or
Okay.
yeah, because
That's
we went through all the rounds at least
yeah,
once,
okay. From
and maybe a
the
guidance round as well.
Okay, so from
Yeah.
the P basic speed coding, system design, troubleshooting, things like that. Okay, fair enough. And we had a
Yeah.
strategy session. Yeah, this classic five. Okay, so I'm very glad it worked out. I'm to be fair, today everyone who's done, like at least three sessions with us, at least for Meta P, they got the offer. You got all strong
100%.
hires, which is insane.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I'm not
That says a
saying that.
lot. It's a track
Yeah,
record. It's a
yeah,
good
it's
track
weird.
record.
And so what I'm thinking now is there something we're doing a condition or I'm doing, or is it that people who decide to do coaching with condition are super smart because they make that decision of like, okay, they're like super conscious about the fact that they might be missing something and like they can benefit from the insight of maybe someone
Hmm.
who knows more
Hmm.
process. So I think maybe is it that people who are smart enough to do that kind of analysis are the kind of people, or is it something we're doing, or is it a combo? I don't know which it is.
I
I
think
think
it's a
it's a
combo.
combo. Yeah, I don't
I
want to
think
take
it's a
full
combo.
credit. I don't want to take full credit because you work
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah.
And to be
Yeah.
fair, I think the first impressions with you, I could tell you were quite you know, you had the attitude. You had the potential to crack it. I could tell already. So I think it's a combo. I think the people that can make that kind of decision are like, they've got something upstairs anyway. So well done. So
Hmm.
what was your journey? I mean, you had an existing job in a pretty good place. If I remember, as a fan
Hmm.
company. I wouldn't say the name. And
Hmm.
why did you decide to move? Like,
Oh yeah, a recruiter just randomly reached out through email. I was like, "Yeah, let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens." And
what happened?
yeah, we linked up, and then I was like, "How do I prep for this? I haven't touched this in a long time because I was coming from an SD background in my current job, and the previous job was a SRE, so site reliability and DevOps role, which is more aligned with PE. So I was
I
going back
see.
and forth, and I was like, I need to brush up. I just kept on looking online and I found a lot of just random sites, just it wasn't connecting. So I saw conditioning for some reason it just had all the
Conditioning.
guides. I was like, yeah, conditioning, yeah, right. And it had everything. I was like, wait, let me see if I could go through a mock session and see if I could get aligned in what direction to go. Uh, then after our session, that was really good. It gave me a good study guide, gave me a good path to go down for all the rounds. It cleared a lot of unknowns up, and yeah, it felt pretty good. The total timeline was about 4 months from initial contact, and the end of the 4 months was like 2 weeks ago. So that was pretty good. The tech screen, once I got the email, I pushed out the tech screen 1 month after the
Yeah.
tech screen finished, which was the troubleshooting and the PE basic coding. Um, that we switched recruiters from a really pushy let's try to get it done as quickly as possible and schedule as quickly as possible from that type of mindset onto a different recruiter who was like, take your time. I believe in you. Take as much time as you want. And I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
So I pushed it
recruiter.
out 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel that made a huge difference because one thing I always
exactly. Yeah.
tell our users is if you're not interview ready, we will tell you, and we usually recommend you reschedule because the bar is so high, so competitive that if you don't meet the minimum threshold, it's highly likely you're gonna waste the opportunity. So it's better you just reschedule, and they do help tend to reschedule
Hmm.
actually. Yeah, like from all the people we've asked to reschedule, it's been 100% success rate. We've never had a situation where someone tried to reschedule and they were like, "Nah, we don't want to interview you anymore." So people are always like, kind of afraid. I feel like this
Hmm.
also played a huge role in you um,
For
getting strong
sure.
hires.
For
Like the
sure.
fact that you were able to take your time, you know what to expect, and you were able to prepare adequately. It's not just because maybe you are, but some super genius that just nailed it. Like you actually optimize your preparation and didn't rush things. So those
Hmm.
recruiters who rush their candidates, I feel like they're doing them a disservice because, if you give them the time they need, even if it's just an extra week or extra 2 weeks, it makes such a huge difference. Because some of these people
Hmm.
have day jobs or families and stuff, so time's quite constrained. So why should they
Hmm.
go if they're not ready, kind of thing? So okay, that's good.
Agreed.
Um,
And
go
I'm
on, go
just
on.
gonna say, like, I'm usually not the smartest person in the room. I'm like probably slightly above average, but I work pretty hard to get what I want to get. And placing it over 4 month time period, I was able to space out the learning, do a lot of spaced repetition, and finally ingrain it into all the knowledge into myself. Otherwise, it's way too rushed to just cram it all into a month. Just take my time and just learn it all. And yeah, that felt way less pressure than just cramming it. And yeah, it felt pretty good.
Very good, very good. So a recruiter randomly reached out to you on LinkedIn, was it?
It was through email. The funny thing was back when I was at my previous job, they were reaching out, and I went in for the full loop, but they wanted me to move to a different location, and at that point of life, I didn't really want to move from where I was, so I declined to move and just didn't proceed with their rounds. But yeah, I was already on the radar a few years ago, and I think now they're just trying to hire as much as possible. So if anything, now's a good time to brush up and get in.
Good, good. Yeah, I personally heard they have a lot of headcount for production engineer. They did a lot of hiring for new grads early in the year. In the past few months, what I've seen is more like E4, E5 and above. So yeah.
There
Um,
was a freeze. I talked to the recruiter. I was like, how's the E4 and E versus E5 headcount? She said, yeah, it's true that E4 is on a freeze for PE currently. And I was like, oh, okay, that means I need to get in as an E5 then. She's like, yep, take your time. Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay. So how was like this team matching through through? Because you finished, actually, let's step back. You had to do um you had to do redo one round. We're not gonna say which round it
Yeah.
is, so we don't give it away. But you had to
Ooh,
do a
sorry.
round
Yep.
and
Yeah.
you had some kind of issue with the interviewer because for that round, based on our preparation, from what you said, I feel like you felt like you were adequately prepared and you felt like you could have nailed it, but something about the interviewer like threw you off. What was that? Because then people
Yeah.
can learn from that.
Yeah, so the interviewer was definitely, it was supposed to be more of a conversational, but I was trying to drive the conversation. The interviewer just kept on every other half sentence. I couldn't even get my thoughts out. He just interrupted and interrupted and interrupted. And I felt like he was trying to take over the entire interview. I was like, what's going on? You're really pushing for this direction, but I think I like this direction. I gave my trade-offs and then boom, another cut off of my sentence. I couldn't even finish my thought. My everything was just everywhere. And it definitely wasn't the best experience. At that point, I was like, I don't know. I gave it my best I could with all the interrupts, but I feel like it would probably wasn't the best experience. That's what I told the recruiter. And then after the interview was done, they met up as it sent my packet and decided, hey, all the other rounds were strong hires, but this was really weird round. He didn't do as good. Let's give him another chance. Because they read through the transcript, they looked at the entire presentation over the Zoom screenshot, and yeah, they were like, just let's give him another redo round. And once I got back that news, it wasn't too much feedback because they can't really give feedback like that. And I was like, okay, let me just schedule it out. At first, I had to play it smartly. I didn't want to schedule it out 1 week later because I'd rush it. I had to think it through. So I bumped it 3 weeks out and claimed I'm busy with work and other rounds, other companies. So I had enough time to study for it. And yeah, lo and behold, the 3 weeks of prep was well worth it because I was mock interviewing with Discord buddies I found on your Discord as well as other Discord channels
Yeah, that's
that
the
were
Coditioning
very
Discord. Yep,
serious.
yeah, for like
Yep,
9,000
yep,
people. Yeah, yeah, that's good.
yep.
Uh,
And I was doing day before work Discord mocking as well as after work mocking. So I was doing two times a day, and we were just grinding. And honestly, I met really good people there, like that made it into Meta as well. So my network also expanded at the same time practicing. We were just practicing a lot every day. It was good.
Perfect, perfect. Really happy that happened. So yeah, so it's always good to like do your best in as many rounds as you can, because if you have one dip, those things can help compensate, and they could say, okay, maybe you can retry. They might just even just move you on, kind of thing. I the advice I always give for when interviews are like pushy and interrupted, like you literally have to push back and just tell them,
Yeah.
you know, give me time to think, or I want to go in this direction. Just give me a chance to, fully express my thoughts. And then you can like tell me if you have objections. But you shouldn't be like shy and think, oh, the interviewer, don't let the interviewer like just run over you. Like this is your
Hmm.
chance to, for a lot of
Yep.
people, like maybe they're trying to double their comp or just go to,
I thought
yeah,
that's where they were trying to test me on, like whether they could test my seniority of whether I could push back against pressure, right? And I was like, all right, let me assert my dominance and
dominance.
like, all right, let me right, let me make sure I could push back hard
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
that style, right? Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, don't be
But
afraid to
in
push
the
back.
end,
Yeah.
right, right. In the end, it was just headbutting, not aligned. It was not vibing well. So, yeah, not the best run.
Yeah. I'd rather like risk being seen as rude than just let interviewer like ruin my
Hmm.
shot.
Yeah,
And
you're not a
in most
punching bag.
cases, yeah, but just
Exactly,
do, yeah, exactly. Just do it politely. But don't let an interviewer like ruin you, you know, ruin your
exactly.
life. And the thing I always say about this, just let's think about it. Let's say, for just a typical example, I'm gonna give the example on the money side just to give some numerical kind of impact. Let's say, moving to Meta raises your comp by, let's just say, $100,000, just relative to where you are, just for example, right? Stock and whatever they pay.
Mhm.
Over like a 10-year period, that's probably an extra million if you just add up that increase, assuming your salaries or total compensation stayed constant. And that's not counting like
Mhm.
compounding from investments
Bonuses.
and so
Yep.
on. And that's not
Yeah.
counting like, promotions or salary increases or, stock refreshes and so on. So the impact can be quite large. So you should just think about like you're fighting for fighting for your future,
Exactly.
right? So just yeah, do not let an interview ruin you. So good,
Exactly.
good. So what was team matching like? It sounded like it was really quick, but maybe you can share.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
did you talk in
very
teams or
fast.
yeah?
Yeah, the minute I got the verbal offer, right? They're like, you passed. Then they also said one team is very interested in your background and your resume and your entire performance. Would you like to speak with them? And then also another one was also interested too. So people were just fighting for for me. So it felt pretty good. I set up a call. I asked basic questions like just getting a feel for the manager. But I was also trying to follow up. Hey, can I speak to an engineer on the team? To ask them, can they vouch for you? I didn't tell them that specifically, but I really wanted to know, is he telling the truth? Um, and how is the work? How's the work-life balance as well? Is it interesting? What's the technical direction? What's the vision? Blah blah blah. And yeah, that checked all my boxes from those two meetings, and I was like, yep, I'm ready. Let me sign. Yep.
Fantastic. Congratulations. So I guess the last thing I'll ask is just looking back, if you could go back in time, is there something you do differently? Now, you may not have an answer to that. So maybe the other question could be, what advice would you just give anyone who's trying to maybe break into meta production engineering or just any interviewing advice in general? Like, was there anything in this sort of 4-month prep you had that you thought, okay, this was quite useful in my preparation that changed the game? If there's anything
Yeah.
you can share.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, I work way harder when I'm in a mock interview, like a pure mock interview with someone. I give way more effort, especially when it's like late at night. It's like, all right, I'm tired, but I got to give it my all for working hard for this peer because they're giving it their all for me. And anytime when I'm not doing mocks at night, I'm pretty lazy. I just go to sleep afterwards and wake up just to study. So I essentially miss that study block at night. But yeah, do a lot of frequent mocks. Reach out to a lot of people, anyone you can on Discord. There's plenty of Discords just grinding for study partners. And it doesn't even have to be specifically for meta. Like if you're doing system design mocks, it's pretty common of the entire format. And just you don't you become less nervous and you become way more confident of going through your entire workflow. Same thing with coding. Like coding wise, set a timer, set up like a a 5 minute, 20 minute timer. If you don't get it within 5 minutes by yourself, you could look for the solution. A lot of the solutions I didn't even understand until I looked at the solution, put it into my Excel sheet of like spaced repetition, and just kept on looping over and over for that. And behavioral, like I would say. I personally do a lot of journaling and self-reflection, so it was a lot easier to get my mind and thoughts into writing and typing. So it felt a lot easier to organize my thoughts and then speak it out in a organized fashion. And again, spaced repetition, like go through my Quizlet to have very fast recall speeds and be able to perform and present. It makes you sound a lot more confident. Um, I guess
That's
health
a lot.
wise,
That's a
like,
lot. That's a lot.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like the mocks you did with like obviously you did mocks with us, but also with just peers on like Discord, just made you just take things a bit more seriously. And I think
Mhm.
the other thing that helps you do is just you're just practicing like problem solving whilst there's another human, right? So the
Mhm.
communication side and having to context switch between like talking and like problem solving and thinking about how you're going to express yourself. All these kind of things definitely help. So happy, well done. Strong hire across all rounds. That is very impressive. Bill, yeah, we'll be in touch. But I really appreciate you just giving us a bit of your time to talk about your journey.